Here in the towns, I want to apologize for any lack of integrity that may or may not be showing up on the soul level. I'm going to talk about what happened earlier. I was half asleep and I heard the tones. I looked at the clock. It was 6:35. I tried to go live in a spot and my connection went out. And so what I'm doing is I'm allowing for those souls who are saying, I have a message for the general public. This means that those souls who I was happening to be thinking I was creating with have their own visions of what a destructive message can or cannot be. We are not here to bring destructive messages only. This can be seen as a general welfare of the nation message as well. So when I tell you that the lights are going off in certain countries because of the power, it's like the power energy grid. We have to worry about what this might be for those who are without power. So this is not saying that those who are without power are destroying the vision. It is literally, there are others in this world who are hearing about the destruction of their homes, or the battlefield of soul is what we're going to call this. This is not about saying that those without power are somehow causing that destruction. This is about saying that we need to take careful measures to make sure that those in other areas of the world, including our neighbors, have power. And what this does is it shows us the nature of destruction. There may be a reason why some of us are needing to lose the power. And we're hearing the power grid. The power grid needs to be upended. And there's a reason for it. It is because of the way we are utilizing our energy. We're going to start talking about how do we better utilize our energy so that we don't allow for others to take advantage of those who can't even afford to keep the power on. There is that aspect of why the power grid is being focused on. And we want to talk to those who say, I can't even pay my bill, right? It's part of it. So when we talk about the nature of the power grid and those who are saying it's too expensive, that's one thing. Sometimes when we are in those areas where the power grid is less reliable, we will create those situations that cause reflection. They're the pain points. And then we say, how do we do a better job of creating our power grid? Some of us create destruction so we can build anew. And I want you to think carefully about the nature of what this means on a soul level. It means that sometimes the destruction is there to help us lift us up to a better place of creation. That's the nature of love. So for those of you who are looking at the destruction as if it is always about the sadness and sorrow or the anger about it, it can also be utilized to come through with guidance on why we are creating what we're creating. So while there is the death and destruction in many ways, it's like traumatic for many, we understand that. We're not here to battle the wills of those of you who want to say, no, this is just a bunch of baloney. There is literally a reason for the destruction that we create most often. And those visions may or may not be aligned with the idea. When we go to the idea of why did someone pass or decide to cross over in the moment, that is one kind of trauma. That's a different aspect of destruction, right? It is a personal reflection point for many. Okay, but when we're talking about the general nature of the country or of other areas of this world, we need to think about those areas that are being hit hard and what might be going on there that we need to reflect on. This is the nature of soul work. It's a work out in the mind. This is the nature of why I'm here, to help us understand why we're creating this. Now, this does not mean we try to forecast the future destruction of the internet. Okay? This is what many are saying. I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to know what's going on around me. I don't want to know what I'm creating with my friends and family on the other line. Right? This is the beauty of our family and friends. It becomes a general message for the general public. So when I go live, it is not just for those who are on my personal page. This is about the nature and the welfare, not only of our nation, but of other areas around the world. And that's why I want to say thank you for watching. Think carefully about those destructive visions and what may be coming out of those destructive visions. It can be a pause point for many. That's what we're going to call it, the power of the pause. We need to pause before reacting and think about what is happening in that moment and what may be coming from it. It is a powerful point of reflection when the power grid is being affected by so many. So please take care in the next few hours. This is also for Brenda with her power. The power grid in California is going to be affected by a natural disaster, correct? We're learning our lessons fast here. We know how to do our work. We turn off our power when we need to, and that's how we avoid the destruction of the internet. Once the power goes out, many people are then without those visions of internet. And with that, we want to tell Brenda she's getting a lesson in how to hold her heart very high. She is also being warned about a potential power problem, but where there are general issues, this wouldn't have been just for her. It is about the nature of California's heat wave. We will talk about that in another forecasting event, but for now we want people to look at the power of the pause when they see a destructive vision on the screen. If it is in their area, then they can definitely feel the vibration of it if they tune into it. If it's about let's honor the vision of those who are suffering in their moments of destruction, that's another place of, others will say, condemnation of Brenda's soul because she is somehow not being seen as heartwarming enough. Do you know what it's like to hear the messages of destruction ahead of time and know that there's a reason that they're happening? That goes beyond the idea of, well, I was just unlucky in my moment. There's always more going on behind the scenes. And so with that, we want to say thank you for watching. Remember to look at those visions of destruction and ask yourself what is being cleared out for us. And we don't mean that in those visions of loss of life, but it is all part of it. There is a reason that others are here to destroy visions. And then there are those who are here to participate in those visions. And it is the hardest thing for us to accept as souls. Once you go to the other side of the veil, you start to understand why things are the way they are in the moment and why you plan for certain events to happen in your own soul's vision of lifetimes. And that's the nature of love. So it is with love that we say thank you for watching. Enjoy your visions of weekend, if this is where you are. Enjoy your visions of love of selves. This is what we want to create with you. It's the love of self that is often missing in most people's minds when they cross over, believe it or not, because it is a pain point for them in many cases. Most of us do not enjoy our visions of lives as much as we do of the death. How many are in that vision of, I escaped the pain when I go away from this plane of discovery? So with that, we want to thank you again. Open your hearts, your minds, and your wisdom to all, and start to see the patterns as we play them out on the screen or on the internet. People are placing visions of blame and shame on the internet, and we want you to realize that that is not needed. That actually hinders the process of growth for many. Let us speak our wisdom. Let us speak our minds, and let us determine whether or not we align with each other or not. This is about soul alignment, and that is part of it. So take care. Have a wonderful journey in your exploration of soul for this day.